Hello, hello. It is me, Militant Ginger. It is January 29th. I'm here with this little puppy outside, trying to teach her to go to the bathroom outside. It's a bit of a struggle, but we're getting there slowly. You know, potty trained 2.5 kids, so I'm sure a dog isn't going to be too challenging. Anyway, Dan Gold, my good old friend Dan Gold from Dan Gold Media, gave me a prod to get back into doing these videos, and you know what? Today was the perfect opportunity. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm standing here. There's no reason why I can't bang one out, so to speak. So, what excitements can I tell you? My big decision today is I had what the alcoholics call a moment of clarity, and I have decided I am no longer going to rant about politics on Facebook and social media. I got into an argument with somebody I know about politics last night, and I was just like, you know what, it's pointless. I'm not going to be able to convince him that his views are wrong. I'm just going to piss him off, and I'm just going to waste time writing the stuff when I could be writing my books or editing videos or making videos like this. It's just stupid. So you know what? I'm going to go cold turkey. I'm going to stop posting about politics on Facebook. And I think that's an interesting idea for everybody. Politics this last year or so has been really weird. I mean, election season, you always have these arguments, but I've never seen anything like this. I mean, in 2016, we had two big things. We had Brexit, and we had the election of Donald Trump. These are both things, if you told me in 2015, oh, Britain's going to leave the European Union and Donald Trump is going to be elected president, I'd be like, what are you smoking? But no, both things happened. And it's interesting, my problem when it comes to politics is the fact that I am neither a liberal or a conservative. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm somewhere stuck in the middle. I'm like 50% libertarian, but mostly I'm just a cynical nihilist. I grew up at the tail end of the Cold War. I grew up reading Ian Fleming and John le Carré. I have no faith in the political system at all. I think it's all done behind closed doors by civil servants. As far as I'm concerned, President Bush and Hillary Clinton and Obama were all part of the this neo-liberal, neo-conservative circle where everything is pretty much the same. It's just shades of the same grey. So to me, like every time somebody posts something political and partisan, I just always like to poke holes in it because it always seems so hypocritical. That's not good. Nobody likes to have their political points like poked at. So yeah, it's best if I just stop talking about it. It is interesting though. So I mean, you talk about politics, and it's like Brexit, for example. It's like so many of my friends, most of my friends are against the whole concept of Brexit, and I can understand that. For me personally, you know, Brexit is a bad thing because my parents live in France, and if I ever move back to Europe, I would prefer to go and live in France because France is awesome. And Brexit might mean I don't have the opportunity to do that, which would suck. But at the same time, back in 2012, when Obama was elected the second time, I actually made a little video, I'll post it down there, pointing out how anti-democratic the European Union was, what a flawed institution it was. So, I don't think Brexit was necessarily driven by racism or nationalism or any of the reasons they gave. There are some really big, serious problems with the European Union that need to be addressed, and so I think people had a legitimate reason to vote for Brexit. And that's not a very popular opinion to have. It's the same thing with Donald Trump. Like, I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's just an uncouth, gauche turd of a man. But you know what? What was the alternative? Hillary Clinton? I mean, like, this is the argument that we've been going on about. Everyone's like, of course Hillary Clinton would have been a better president. I mean, yeah, she would have been a fine, complete, run-of-the-mill, shade of grey, Bush, Obama, neoliberal, neoconservative, like, president, who pushes the whole globalism agenda and stuff like that. And that's fine if that's what you're into, but people aren't into that. There is a real groundswell of people who are against this kind of like blanket globalization politics that seems everywhere, and they were pushing back. The reason Brexit happened is people were like, we don't want to live in a borderless society, and in America, it's the same thing. It's like Hillary Clinton literally went onto Wall Street and was talking to the bankers about how she wanted to create a borderless society, and people aren't ready for that. And I don't necessarily think what she's doing is wrong. You know, I think eventually we want to live in like the Star Trek United Federation of Planets, one global society thing. That's going to be the eventual goal of humanity, but I don't think we're quite ready for that yet, and I think there are going to be pain points that we have to work through. And that's what happens when you just ignore these pain points, when you just don't listen to people's complaints, and when people complain about things, you just accuse them of being racist or nationalist or bigoted instead of listening to why they might be upset. You have things like Brexit and you have things like Trump. They are not the disease, they're symptoms of the disease. So there we go. I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, but I ended up talking about politics. But I was just getting it out of my system. I'm just frustrated. I'm just frustrated because so many of my friends just have such a black and white view of politics when it is all shades of grey. And you don't have heroes and villains in politics. A lot of my friends are like, oh, we miss Obama, he was so wonderful. And I liked Obama, I read his books. He was dignified, he was classy, he was funny. But you know what? What he did in the Middle East was just a continuation of what Bush did in the Middle East. And it's a continuation of what Clinton would have done in the Middle East. And it caused ISIS to swell up. It caused millions of people from Syria to have to flee their homes and flood into Europe. And now we've got that to deal with in Europe. It's all connected. And as much as I like Obama, he's a flawed president. Every single president is a flawed president. Perhaps Trump's more flawed than everyone else, but there are no heroes and there are no villains. It's always shades of grey, and people don't like that to be pointed out to them. I have a saying that I believe very strongly, that the only time and the only reason people ever get offended by something is if it is true. And so I think when I annoy people by posting these little things about how, you know, maybe Hillary Clinton actually had some flaws, they get very offended by that because it's true. So anyway, that's it. People don't like the truth, and I'm really not going to lose friends and alienate people and upset people by ranting, basically just being a dog and howling at the moon, by posting political stuff on Facebook. I'm done with it. One of my favourite books, Casino Royale by Ian Fleming, he had this great saying in it. He said, when James Bond was in hospital bed, his friend René Mathis said to him, surround yourself with human beings, James, because human beings are so much easier to fight for than principles. That's gold. You know what? Political principles are almost an oxymoron. But people are worth fighting for. And, you know, when it comes down to it, when things like the stuff that's going on with immigration, why should you be against that? Well, I have friends who have green cards who might have trouble getting back into the United States now, so that's a reason to fight against that, because of people I know. All this stuff, this anti-Muslim stuff. I have a friend who's Muslim, and when you hear about stuff like that, you think, well, it might affect her. So you want to fight against that because of a person. I have friends who are gay, and when there's all this anti-LGBT stuff, you think, well, I want to fight against all of this anti-LGBT stuff, not because of the principle, but because it impacts a friend of mine. I think everything you have to fight for has to be connected to people you know, and one of the reasons that bigotry exists and racism exists is not because people are inherently evil, it's just because people don't have a wide, diverse group of friends. You know, there are people in the Midwest who don't know any gay people. So that's why they are anti-gay, because they don't know anybody and they can't humanize these people. They can't humanize their plight. So I'm very lucky to have quite a broad background and to have lived in different countries and to have friends from many different areas. And so that's why I believe the things that I do. Okay, anyway, I am going to disappear off because this door is going to open in 2 seconds. Thank you very much for listening. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.